Sometimes it's fun to explore a world where it's dystopian and everything's gone wrong and the apocalypse has happened, but nobody actually wants to live in that world. In fact, when we think about it, nobody wants to enjoy a Mad Max type of thing where you're either running around and everything is terrible or it's just falling apart. We don't want to live like that. We want to live in a world where we're in harmony with nature and other people and things are going well and we don't have to worry about war and things like that anymore. And that type of future where we're actually building in harmony with nature and we're using our energy responsibly and people have what they need and greed isn't dominating our culture anymore. And that type of future is the type of future envisioned by the Solarpunk movement, where we are in balance with nature and building and how we live with one another and all that. This box says the social ecological storytelling game where you and your friends build a better world. But it's kind of a remembering of what your ancestors have already done, and it's for 1 to 8 players. This is really a set of prompts for ages 14 plus. There are some serious things in here. This is definitely something that a lot of RPG people could use, but you can also get it as a digital download. So how are you going to imagine a better world? What does that look like? And is this a game or more than a game for you? And maybe it's not a game. Maybe it's just more of a role-playing experience. And maybe it's more of a prompt. And in fact, I think that's where this thing, whatever it is useful. This art project prompt sort of thing from Solarpunk Surf Club that explores what if we finally got everything right and we were to spend some time together exploring our past where everything wasn't right. And so as a group, you pretend that you have ancestors who had to overcome challenges, maybe something like deforestation, and then you get some tools, maybe something like direct democracy and clothing design, and you get some values like biomimicry, which is the use of living structures and systems to inspire art, craft design, and engineering. And your ancestor, who was a teacher, used those tools and that value to help overcome the problem of deforestation. And you imagine how they went through that, and you talk with your group, and it's really just more of this prompt where you have all of these cards that you are doing this, and you'll spend some time journaling and talking. And if that is your sort of thing where you're working through how we solve these problems together, how we get to a better place, then I think this is something that is quite useful. I think that some of the research that has been done here and the definitions are going to give you a lot of room to talk and grow. Is this necessarily what I would call a game? Is this even your normal role-playing experience? It's designed for ages 14 plus and 1 to 8 players in 40 minutes. But honestly, you could spend an hour or less or 15, 20 minutes and have this as part of something else that you're doing where you use it for role-playing or just maybe envisioning a better future. There's all these kind of cards that remind you of the lenticular thing that you had when you were a kid, maybe, where you have your ancestors and you have these problems that have to be overcome that are problems right now, whether it's digital divide or the water crisis or mass incarceration or, I don't know, come up with your own. There's space for you to come up with your own. Or homelessness. Do you want to solve homelessness? So is this a game? I don't know quite what I'm experiencing other than this is like things that I want to escape from, and the way to escape from it in the game is to use the tools and the values that you have. So I don't know how often I want to come to this, but is it a useful tool? Is this something that teachers and people who are having these discussions can talk about? Absolutely. I think that this has brought to light a lot of things that we sometimes ignore when we talk about gaming. And I think probably the best way to experience this is by going and finding the digital download where you can participate by getting these prompts. That's really what I'm going to call this. It's a prompt to think about these things and do something with it, and take these prompts and solve a problem together and have some discussion with some common rules. And once you've done that, maybe you'll experience a Solarpunk future where you're in harmony with other people and your environment. I don't know. I do think that there's some important things happening here. And is this an RPG? I don't know. Is this an RPG that you want to experience? I can't answer that for you. But I know that if I was a teacher with the tools that I was given in this game, I would definitely be working on some of these things. So take your challenges, talk about your ancestors, build a new world, and then remember together how your ancestors overcame most or all of that problem that you encounter. And you will grow in your appreciation of other people who you're doing this with, and grow in your appreciation of the difficulty of these problems or challenges or the things that it takes to create a better future. And anything that does that is worth spending some time on. So Solarpunk Futures, it's not really a game, not really an RPG, definitely a prompt of some kind that is in a gaming RPG packaging that you can also just encourage the creators with your support and get it digitally without having to harm the environment, which is something that this deals with in the game too. So you could support the creators without having to harm the environment at all, which is part of what the creators of this game have dealt with as they created it. So Solarpunk Futures, there's some interesting things going on here. Check it out for yourselves. Let me know what you think of it. Thanks for watching. Happy gaming. We'll catch you later.